Good morning, good morning. It is Sunday, the 29th of July. Oh my goodness, where is the summer going? You're with the Crypto Divas again this week with me, Jillian Godsil, my partner in crime, Liina Laas Billson. And we're going to talk about what's happening in crypto. And Lina's going to speak very loudly today because we're having technical issues. So I want to speak less and you can speak more. So do you want to kick off the operations?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there seems to be a problem with my mic, so I hope you can all hear me. But yeah, let's kick off with some news. Now, obviously, price has gone up nice again, kind of. So positive news after some positive regulation and stuff. However, there's some not so nice things as well. So I will start with something that's close to home. Hashflare, which is a cloud mining company, has announced that they are closing down. So what they do is they do a service that enables users to leash hashing power and then get profit from it. But there have been rumors that they don't actually have any mining facilities, and then it's I have met the guys in Estonia myself, and it could be one or another. They are saying that mining right now isn't profitable, and that's why they are temporarily closing. But if it does remain unprofitable for another 21 days, then the service will be permanently terminated. And they've been getting a lot of hate from some users. And
are users losing money or anything with them? Is that the problem?
Well, yeah, if they've invested a certain amount and then they're promised to get returns on the mining, and now they're gonna go, well, it's not profitable. Sorry, we're closed. So we'll see. There's a few haters on them that are now going, hey, I told you so. But yeah, it's there's this guy on Twitter and Reddit. And there's a lot of people who have suspected Hashflare of being a scam. For example, there's a Twitter user who goes by the moniker of Madoff, wasn't on a blockchain, and specializes in exposing crypto fraud, when he was gloating over the considered evidence that Hashflare never really actually had mining facilities. And yeah, so we'll see.
And you've actually met them. Did they seem like nice guys when you met them?
They are based in Estonia, yes. I mean, we also had these questions of whether they actually have the mining facilities, because when I was working with the Estonian Cryptocurrency Association, one of my colleagues went and met them. But, the question is, where are these mining facilities? And on the other hand, if you are doing a mining operation, if your miners are based in Estonia, it's not, good for business because electricity costs are very high.
Yes. So okay.
We'll see what happens.
Well, I'll continue on the bad news, although this is like painful. Mastercard CEO Ajay Banja, if I get his name right, he was speaking at the New India lecture, and he said cryptocurrencies are junk. And he goes on, 95% of illegal online operations are on the dark web are done with cryptocurrencies, including child trafficking, drugs, credit card fraud, etc., etc. And then he went on to mention the 12 Russians indicted of influencing, rigging the US elections. And they used Bitcoin, as he said, and that's how he did. They were bad. But of course, as we discussed last week, how do we know they used Bitcoin? Because it wasn't anonymous. If they'd used cash, we wouldn't have known. That seems to have totally escaped them. So it's just this typical, let's bash people and throw out incendiary terms like child trafficking, and drugs, and it has to be bad, dark net. And it kind of follows on from, most of the crypto credit cards have stopped their prepaid crypto cards, like Visa stopped theirs, and you can still use them to obviously access exchanges like Coinbase. But I just thought it's FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, lots of FUD. And you should know better, Mr. Ajay Banja.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of the same thing that Europe came up with. I think it was a year or a few ago. They said that most money laundering happens with the 500 euro notes. So we will take them off circulation. And is that now going to solve the problem, or are we going to have a problem of 200 euro notes being used for money laundering?
Yeah.
it would actually make you able to possibly track it better. If you see a person who has a lot of 500 euro notes, then there's something suspicious going on, rather than going, hey, we'll solve this problem and we'll take them off the market. But yeah,
it's strange thinking, isn't it? It's not the problem they're addressing. It's like the implementation. So it actually makes no sense whatsoever.
Yes. So yeah, let's continue on the bad news. Poloniex, one of a considerably large exchange, is now in trouble by ignoring a lot of customers. So on July the 25th, the Department of Justice showed its interest in Poloniex, and in a rather unexpected fashion, the chief special investigator of the Investor Protection Unit emailed a number of Poloniex users asking them to respond if they've had any difficulties with their account. So what's happened is a lot of people have been locked out of their accounts, and Poloniex is asking for KYC to get it, back up there. But then they're not responding to customers. So, and this has been going on since about 2017. And, there's two options here. Either they have got hacked, made some bad business decisions, and they just don't have that money, so they're stalling it with people's accounts, or it's just incompetence. Either way, not good.
Would not make me want to sign up with their service, that's for sure.
Yes.
And I do know, I remember I spoke with CZ from Binance back in January when he first launched, and he was saying it wasn't the problem, because you know how fast people join the Binance exchange. But he said he had so many support issues. So I do know that sometimes they haven't ramped up the numbers. I think we also discussed too as well. Binance announced that their huge first quarter profits based on about 100 people, whereas Deutsche Bank made less than them but had 100,000 people. So I think the exchanges need to ramp up their support for sure. So allowing that nothing illegal's gone on or hacking's gone on, they really need to put their money into support staff, because it is needful.
Yes, absolutely.
So the other thing that I saw, the piece of bad news I saw was, and it sounds like a bit of a hairball, and perhaps you know more about this than I do, but the Swiss financial authority, FINMA, is looking into, it's announced, is formally looking into the Environ ICO. It raised 100 million. It was one of the top 6 ICOs. It's for cheap mining energy. And they said that the 30,000 investors, they want to check that they're not dodgy, whatever. And the team, they've gone very quiet, because since May, social media has gone dark. The team put up a second website, and they said until management regains control. And the founders brought in a new CEO, Washman, whatever. So now there's 3 camps: those that trust the founders, those that trust Washman, and those that don't trust anybody. So it sounds a bit like the Tezos mess, isn't it? A lot of money comes in, and it just sounds like there's a mess. There's not enough people, and they're not doing proper governance, and the money comes in, where is it coming in? It's not great for the whole industry, is it? Because, and I guess if you've got maybe a handful of people who raise 100 million, they haven't got the nous to do it.
Yes, and that's going to be a problem with many ICOs, because most of them start with a very small team, and it's going to be bootstrapped. Because if you already had a lot of money, then you maybe wouldn't be doing an ICO. But an ICO is a great way of raising capital. So you will have this problem. Suddenly, let's say 10 people working on an ICO have 50 million, and they'll go, okay, what do we do now? And it will. I can understand that it will be pretty overwhelming. You just sat there with a pile of cash, and you don't really, task blindness, you don't know where to start. Yes. And that's why ICOs and projects should plan that part, of course, beforehand, but many don't, because it's ICO is such a risky area that you kind of perhaps assume that you will fail, and you don't think what happens day one after you get the money. So projects should definitely be looking at that from the start.
Well, also, when you think about it, I know, like when I was married, my ex and I used to argue over if we won the lottery, how we'd spend it. So I kind of get that thing. A lot of money comes in, and you're going, how to spend it. But there's enough money in there to bring somebody in, or bring in a team or somebody. It's just, guys. If you've raised 100 million, you can afford to spend $1 million. I don't know, 100,000, 200,000, whatever.
Maybe it's not even about being able to afford the employment market. is pretty bad right now. It's no longer an employer's market, it's an employee's market. And finding a great team in a short amount of time is near impossible. So
yeah,
it's, okay, you may have all the money. I said, okay, I need 50 developers. I need a CMO. I need a COO. I need, all these key people, and these people need to build out their team. But, you can't hire them all in such a short time. And that is going to be a problem. So what I advise ICOs to start, maybe not recruiting, but start talking to candidates way before the ICO.
Have a post ICO map. The roadmap is often just like, oh, we got the money. Oh, okay. What now?
Yeah.
Okay. I got some good news then. Hitachi announced that they're going to use blockchain to settle payments using biometrics, using fingerprints. They're partnered up with, I forget the name of the company they're partnered, but they're going to do a pilot in Tokyo. And so it's quite clever. It's biometrics and blockchain together to speed up payments. And it'll be, they're talking about disrupting the retail industry. So that's kind of interesting because there's very few implementations of blockchain projects. That would be nice. And Hitachi has the money to do it, of course.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Oh, I found a really funny one. This made me giggle today. An ex-programmer of Russian payments firm Kiwi used company equipment to mine 500,000 bitcoins, the CEO claims. So apparently the programmer used the payment terminals to mine Bitcoin in 2011. And I managed to mine 500,000 Bitcoins, according to a report on July 25th. And they kind of found out about it that the electricity usage was going up considerably at night. And the Bitcoins that he mined that year were worth 5 million that year and 4 billion today. And he said that most of all, I was amazed by the amount. In 3 months, he has managed to mine 500,000 coins. And so they went to this developer and said, give us the Bitcoins. And he went, fuck you, and resigned. And then they started looking at the numbers and said, this mining is making more money than we are making money with our business. So they said, okay, let's pivot and then mine Bitcoins. But of course, by that time, they were a bit late already because their network difficulty had gone up. But yeah, it's...
do they have any charge on him? Can they chase him for, using their electricity, stealing their electricity?
Well, they are trying to do something, but there was an update that the former Kiwi programmer couldn't take advantage of the 500,000 mined Bitcoins as they were lost at some point.
Yeah. Or maybe that's the rumor he's putting out. We'll see him in the Lambo next week, going to the moon. Oh, dear. Yes, and I saw another one, interesting one, all about secret deals. You read about that in Nasdaq. They had a secret meeting behind closed doors. Bloomberg reported this. And in part of the meeting where the Winklevoss brothers talking about, I think Nasdaq's looking to list cryptocurrencies. That comes on the back, of course, because the Voss brothers, they wanted to set up a Bitcoin EFT, financial instrument they could actually trade on actually list on the regular stock markets, but the SEC turned them down for that. There are 5 other EFTs being explored by the SEC, but they've put off until September before they announce that. But it goes to show, if Nasdaq, which would be a more nimble exchange, looking to list currencies, that could be interesting. Is that your dog?
The dog, yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I also been following the Winklevoss thing, but it seems it's not over yet. So the SEC hasn't accepted any of the applications for the Bitcoin ETFs. However,
did I say EFT or ETF? My dyslexia is coming into play here.
But yeah, it's not over, and they've kind of left the door open, so they're in still future discussions. So they have some concerns there because the market now is unregulated. But you could argue that if we would be able to trade ETFs on Nasdaq, then there will be some heavy regulation going on there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see. And then I saw that Uber co-founder, Oscar Salazar, he was a CTO of Uber. He's behind a commission-free trading platform called Voyager. It's going to compete with Coinbase and Robinhood. It's quite nice. I like the idea that it will search for the best prices. So you don't have to have accounts at 12 different exchanges. It'll search like, you have those price aggregation sites, whatever, so that sounds quite interesting. And he's launching that, and, one account chase the best price. So again, with more and more people come in, like Uber obviously would have been called disruptive, although it was trouble, but it wasn't a sharing economy. But interesting to see regular names come into this space as well. So that's good.
Definitely. I think that's all I have here.
Well, I've got a couple of other quick things. One was the Chinese, they've announced a dream city. They're partnering with Consensus, the Joe Lubin's group. And I can't pronounce Xiangan. It's going to be a smart city, so that they're looking to do that. Dubai's also said they want to be a smart city. And I'm actually working with an organization with David Kam of Earth Dollar and Alicia Forrester from the US Blockchain Association and Stephen Cutler from Wuju Foundation. And they're looking at creating the Found City of Atlantis, another smart city. So there's a lot of smart cities coming up. And actually, Stephen Cutler, I interviewed him last night, and he's very interesting. But he was talking to a Norwegian company that's also, I have a fully funded smart city. He's going to get involved with that. So the emergence of smart cities is going to be a huge thing going forward. And it's quite exciting that I'm involved with one of those. Another weird thing I came across, or a different word, was Augur, which is the predictive decentralized platform. They've all these bets on, and they're called like assassination bets, like will Donald Trump survive his presidency? And the weird thing is that a user who makes the bet, who does the hit perhaps, they could actually take all the money, as long as they're not caught, of course. They end up in prison for life or executed. But also the police and Secret Service could make these bets too as well. So it's kind of scary. There's a lot of money maybe riding on the assassination of these people. And if you get away with it, you can take the money and run. Woo!
Pretty sinister. Oh, God. Sorry, I did find one more. Quite a good one. So South Carolina state regulators withdraw enforcement actions on 2 blockchain startups. So they were trying to sort of shut down Genesis Mining, due to selling unlicensed securities, and also ShipChain. They've issued a cease and desist order. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, they've withdrawn these now because in the cloud mining platform case, it wasn't really selling unlicensed securities, and also ShipChain has a feasible business model and is just using blockchain technology. So yeah,
that's good. That's good. That sounds like sense coming through, common sense. Okay, we thought it was a baddie, but now we looked at it and went, not so bad. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it was good. I was in London this week too as well for a meeting, Jet Set Me, Go Me. And that was fun on blockchain too as well, talking to a new client about, again, disrupting another industry, the VC industry this time. So, really, really interesting stuff happening. So I think this week has been a good week, especially with prices a bit more stable and stuff like that, going up a little bit. So I'd vote for a good week.
Yeah, it's interesting that even some weeks when you have really bad news, the price just goes up and it doesn't make sense. But yeah, let's call it a good week.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so until next week when we do it all again, it's goodbye from me.
Bye-bye.